unit, unit number 2, inheritance and pointers. I'm audible, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll start with this inheritance and polymorphism. So with respect to unit number 2, these are the contents which we are going to discuss in unit number 2. First one, basically this particular unit is divided into two different parts. First one is the inheritance and second one is the pointer. So with respect to inheritance, we are going to discuss what is in by base class, then derived class, then what are the protected members, then relationship between base class and derived class, then constructor and destructor in derived class, overriding members, class hierarchies, public private inheritance, then types of inheritance, ambiguity in multiple inheritance, then what is in by virtual base class, abstract class, friend class, and nested class. And after that, in case of second section with respect to this unit 2, we are going to discuss a few points with respect to pointers, how we are going to declare that pointer, and as well as initializing that particular pointer variable. Then what is meaning by that indirection operators, memory management with the help of new and delete. I think we have covered that particular new and delete with respect to unit number 1. Okay. Then pointers to objects, then this pointer, pointers versus arrays, then accessing arrays using pointers, and different points with respect to functions. So this is our syllabus with respect to unit number 2. So let us start with the actual syllabus with respect to first part, inheritance. So just, can anyone tell me what is the actual use of inheritance? Why we are using that particular concept or property with respect to C++ programming language? Yes, inheritance. Why we are using that inheritance? Basically, first property or first use with respect to inheritance is that with the help of inheritance, we are achieving the reusability. Okay, suppose we have described one particular function in base class, and suppose we have to again use that particular function in another class. So in that case, directly we are performing the relation between both these classes, and directly we are accessing the method or the function or the logic which we have written in the base class with the help of that particular relation. So first concept with respect to inheritance is that reusability. So this is the most important feature with respect to OOP. Means we are not going to again write that particular logic in another class. Directly we are going to access that particular function or logic from the base class to the derived class. So with respect to this, the mechanism of deriving a new class from an old one is called an inheritance. Means we are directly achieving all the properties as well as data members from the old class to the new class. So this particular concept is called as inheritance. So old class is also referred as base class, and new class is also referred as derived class. Okay, in another term, old class is also called as parent class, and new class is also called as child class. So child class is going to inherit all the properties from the parent class. Okay, so suppose with respect to this particular figure, this is the line, and suppose we consider it as a base class, and this one is the child. So this particular child is going to derive, sorry, this particular child class is going to inherit all the properties of the of its base class. Okay, so these are the points. What is the actual need of that inheritance? So with the help of inheritance, we are achieving this particular feature, reusability. Next one, using this particular feature, we directly access data and function of one class into another class. Okay, so mechanism of deriving a new class from an old one is called an inheritance. So the old class is referred as base or super class, and the new class is called as child class or the derived class. So with respect to this particular tree, inheritance is the process by which objects of one class acquire the properties of objects of another class. Okay, so this particular sentence is satisfied with this particular figure. Bird is nothing but the parent class. So this is the first category, And under that category, again, this particular category is divided into two different parts. First one is the flying bird, and second one is the non-flying bird. Again, uh, from flying bird, that particular category is again divided into different, just like birds, just like parrot, sparrow. So these different birds belong from flying birds, and penguin and kiwi, it belongs from non-flying bird. But all these four birds, or all these four examples, they are belonging from the main bird class. Okay, so that's why inheritance is nothing but parrot is directly inherit all the properties from flying class, flying bird, and flying bird is directly achieving all the properties from the bird class. Okay, so that's why this particular concept is called an inheritance. Okay, so with respect to this inheritance, so how we are going to inherit all the properties of the base class? So this is the syntax in which we are going to achieve all the properties, means all the member functions as well as member variables from base class to derived class. So this is the syntax: class, derived class, then colon, and visibility mode, and the name of that particular class or the base class name. So for example, here I will consider three different examples. Suppose with respect to three different visibility modes. First one, class ABC. In that case, this particular class ABC is going to derive all the data members and functions from the XYZ class, but visibility mode is private. So next one, with respect to public, class ABC is going to derive all the properties, or is going to inherit all the properties of the base class in public manner. And next one, in case of third one, class ABC is going to inherit all the members with the help of protected. Yes, so guys, can anyone just tell me what is the difference between the private, public, and protected visibility mode? Yes, can anyone?
Private means it is restricted to that class itself. Public means it can be accessed by another derived class, and protect any other derived class. And protected means it can be accessed by only one
Base
derived
class and
class.
derived class. Okay, it is limited up to base and derived class. Okay, so these are the three different specifiers mode. So with respect to this example, XYZ, our XYZ is nothing but our base class, and ABC is nothing but our derived class. So with respect to first access specifier private, we are going to access all the private access specifier, or we are directly converting that particular XYZ in private mode. So similarly, public XYZ means we are going to access all the publicly available member functions from that class to this ABC class. Okay, and one more with respect to this example. If suppose we have forgot to write that particular member function, sorry, visibility mode. So by default, compiler is going to consider it as a private derivation. Just guys, look at the third example, class ABC colon directly XYZ. So here in this case, visibility mode is not written. So in that case, by default, he is going to consider that particular visibility mode is nothing but private. Okay, so consider this one. If you forgot to write that particular visibility mode, so by default your compiler is going to consider that particular mode is nothing but directly private. So with respect to this private and public derivation, so what is it then private? So public members of the base class is privately derived. So public members of base class can be accessed by the member function of the derived, and private members are not inheritable. So if suppose we have written the private members in the base class, so we cannot access all these private members in the inside the derived class, because all the private members are restricted by that particular base class. So if suppose only public members we can access with the help of that particular access specifier. Next one, with respect to public derivation, if we have written that particular member or member functions inside the public scope. So inside the public derivation, we directly access all the public members as well as functions inside the derived class. But again here in this case, again private members are again not inheritable. So just look at this, guys. Each and every case, private members are not inherited to the derived class. So if suppose you have written uh, inside the base class, this particular member or this particular member function is of private access specifier, or it belongs from private access specifier, so no class is going to derive that particular definition or that member variable, because that particular variable or function is belong from private scope. So that particular scope is limited only up to that particular class, or is up to restricted with respect to that particular base class. Okay, so this is related with public and private. So with respect to that, guys, what are the different types of inheritance? We have already discussed all these types in case of unit number 1, and as well as I have shown you with the help of diagrams as well as different examples. So what are the different types? Yes, guys.
Single level, multi-level, multiple, hierarchical, and hybrid.
Hybrid. Okay, so basically there are 5 different types with respect to inheritance. First one is the single, means this is normal, means in case of single inheritance there are only 2 different classes are available. First one is the base class and second one is the derived class. So derived class is going to directly inherit all the properties from the base class. This is called as single inheritance. In case of multiple inheritance, I'll show you with the help of diagram. In case of multiple inheritance, yes, more than one base classes are available, and one only single derived class is going to share all the members and functions from all these base classes as per his requirement. So in case of multi-level inheritance, there are again 3 different classes are available. So first one is the parent class. So that particular parent class is going to derive, or he's going to provide all the properties to the next class, and that particular second class is going to again provide all the member functions to the third class. So it is nothing but level, first level, second level, and third level. Just like first A class is nothing but grandfather, B is nothing but parent, and C is nothing but child. In that manner this particular multi-level inheritance works. Next one is related with hierarchical. So in case of hierarchical, first one, A is nothing but the base class, and the remaining, there are multiple childs. So all these multiple childs are going to access all the members or member functions from that particular single base class. And hybrid. So hybrid is nothing but the combination of both multiple as well as hierarchical or multi-level inheritance. So hybrid is nothing but combination of above all these 4 different types. So let us start with the first one with respect to single one. So I will just dictate you what is in by first one, single inheritance. With the help of one single sentence, one class inherits properties of the another class. So that particular one class is nothing but the derived class, and another class is nothing but the base class. In case of multi-level, deriving a class from another derived class. So directly derived class is going to derive the he is going to access or inherit to again one more derived class, and that particular derived class is going to inherit to the actual base class. So it makes the levels. So in case of multiple inheritance, deriving a class from several other base classes. So there are available n number of base classes, and in case of multiple, only one class is going to access all the properties from all these base classes. Next one is the hierarchical inheritance. In this hierarchical, deriving multiple subclasses from a single base class. Here in this case, only one base class is available, and multiple subclasses is going to inherit that particular property. And next one is the hybrid inheritance. So hybrid is nothing but the combination of hierarchical and multiple inheritance. If we are talking about this particular previous figure, this particular figure is nothing but combination of, okay, first one, if we are talking about A, B, and C, yes, if you are talking about the upper part with respect to hybrid, it is nothing but, yes, it is nothing but hierarchical inheritance. And next one, if you are talking about B, C, and D, then it is nothing but multiple inheritance. So Hybrid is nothing but the combination of hierarchical inheritance as well as multiple inheritance. So let us start with the actually first one, single inheritance. So single inheritance, one class inherits all the properties of the another class. So here is the example. A is nothing but our base class and B is nothing our derived class. So B class is going to inherit all the properties of the A class. So this is called as simple single inheritance. So this is the example with respect to single inheritance. Class B, yes, class B is nothing but which class? Class B is our base class and class D is nothing but our derived class. Okay, and just look at this, guys. Here in this case we have been considered which access specifier or visibility mode. We have been considered the public visibility mode. So what is meant by that public? Yes, guys.
Then we can derive another class from class D.
So suppose in case of class D, we want some features from class B and we are using that particular visibility mode as a public. So in that case, what will happen? So what will be the different public methods which are available inside that B class? Directly all are available inside the public scope of class D. So look at the right hand side. This is nothing but the actual implementation of class D after inheriting all the features from class B. Why this integer A is not available inside the class D? Yes, this particular
Because it
integer
is
A,
private.
because by default that particular integer A from class B is of is it belong from the private scope. So that's why that particular private variable or a private portion or private region is not available inside this class D. So inside the class D, we will get integer B, likewise void get AB, next one void show A. So all these three different statements are available, means one member variable and two different member functions are available inside the class D inside public scope. And one more method void display by default, which is available inside the class D. By default it is available inside the public scope of that class D. So how you are going to access this particular then how you are going to provide the call? So this is the actual implementation. Okay, before that, let us directly start with the implementation for this. Before that, I will just dictate this. I will explain this code. Inside the class B, we have been considered two different variables. One is from private scope and second one is from public scope. So inside the private scope, we have been considered integer A, and inside the public scope, we have been considered integer as B, and we have considered two different functions. First one is get AB and second one is a show A. Next one, class D is going to inherit all the properties of class B in public mode. So inside the class D, one private variable is available, integer C, and inside the public scope, one method is available, void display. And then next one, yes guys, what is this? Next implementation, void B, scope relation get AB. What is this? This is nothing but the actual definition for that particular function. And what is meant by that void and B? Void is nothing but the return type and B is means, yes, B means what? That B is nothing but the class name, name of that
Name
particular
of
class. Okay, name of that class. So this particular get AB is method belong from this class B. Similarly, right hand side, void B, scope resolution operator show A, means this particular show A method, it belongs from that particular class B. Next one, display method, it belongs from the class D method, so that's why void D, and its return type as a void. So how you are going to provide the call to this particular program? So for that particular purpose, we are directly deriving or we are inheriting all the properties of class B into class D. So all the public methods by default available inside the public scope of class D. So directly we will create the object of class D, and then with the help of that object we are directly accessing all the member functions as well as member variables from class D as well as from class B. So this is the actual call with respect to this scope. Okay, so okay, so I will just show you the implementation of this code. What is the expected output? Yes, so guys, just tell me what is that code, whatever we have discussed. First one is the class B. Next one, yes, what data is available inside the class B? Integer A. Next one, guys reply. Integer A. Then inside the public scope, yes, inside the public scope, one variable is available. Next one, void get AB method. Next one, void show A method is available. Okay, next, what is the syntax to inherit class B? What is that syntax? Yes, class D,
Class D, public
scope resolution operator single, then public and
B.
B. The name of that particular class is the B. Yes. So what data is available inside the class D? I have considered one more variable which is of private type. Then next one inside the public scope. I have considered one method as a display. So this is up to class D. Now define all these methods. So how you are going to define all these methods? Suppose first of all define the get A method. Sorry, first of all get AB method. So how you are going to define that method? Method first of all is the return type void, then the name of that particular class, class B, then scope resolution operator, and the name of that particular method, get AB. Now initialize both the variables to, I will initialize at a as a is equal to 10 and B is equal to 5. Okay, so this is related with first one. Second, void B, which method? Show A method, and inside that, suppose I want to show only A variable. Next one, now I want to call that display method which is available inside the class D. So that's why void is nothing but the return type of that method. Return type of this method void. Then this particular method is available inside this class D. So that's why class D. And next one, scope resolution operator, and the name of that particular function is the display. Now we want to print. Yes, first of all we want to print the value of A. Yes, the value of A is available inside which method? Is available inside this show A method. So directly call that method. So you will directly display that data here itself. Next one, see out the value of B, directly B. Next, the value of C is directly available with respect to C. Okay, I'm using /n. Okay, so we have done with all these methods. Now call all these methods from the main. Yes. So how you are going to provide the call? Yes. So guys, look at this code. This particular class B is derived inside the class D. Yes, with the help of public scope. So both these methods as well as this particular member variable is available inside this class D. So directly we will create the object of this class D and we will call all these methods, because all these methods are available inside that class D itself. Okay, so just I will create the object of class D. Yes guys, just reply class D. I will create the object as a D. Then next call the first
D
method as
dot
a
get AB.
AB. Next one, second, call the second
Show A.
method show AB. Next one is the display. Okay, I will show this execute this code. Let us check what will happen. It will show errors for that particular operator. Okay, I will check what will happen. It's happened in case of line number 31. Okay, it is related with that particular operator. Okay, instead of this, if suppose I will use as a variable, first of all check what will happen. Yes, declared private here. Yes, why this particular a is not accessible here in this case? Because a is yes, why this particular error occur? Integer b scope resolution a is a private within this context. Just look at this guys, this particular a variable is available inside the private scope of class B. So that's why this particular a is not directly accessible inside this particular display method, because this particular display method it belong from class D. So that's why it will show that error. So if suppose I will use that show a again, yeah, no issue. Here no match for operator and void D. Okay, I will just mark it as an integer. And here in this case again, integer. Okay, I'll use /n. It is here as a again void and void. Okay, guys, just look at this. What will happen if suppose I will call this particular get AB with the help of this particular get AB, it will call this particular method and it will initialize both the variables 10 and 5 to A and B. Next one, when we are going to provide the call to this particular show A method, so directly it will call this particular show A method and he will display that show A as a 10. This is for first A variable. And then again when we are going to call this particular display method, then here in this case he will call this particular display method and he will call ABC. But for this particular show ABC, he will return this particular garbage value. I think due to this integer and here it will not accept that value, so that's why I will suppose I will pass here as a value. Okay, now it is clear. So from the display method for this particular show A, we will get that particular 10 value. For this particular B, we will get this particular 5 value. And for this particular C, we will get 0. Yes. Why for that particular C variable, we will get that as a 0? Yes, guys. Yes, because
We
we have not,
assign the
yes, because we have not initialized that particular variable. Okay, suppose I will initialize that particular variable to 20. Now look at C as a 20. And okay, suppose I will update this B value with the help of the object of D. Is this possible? If I want to update this B value, which we have already initialized to 5 with the help of D object, is this possible, guys? Are you get my question?
yes, sir. It is possible
Why it is possible?
because we have
Because
public class मध्ये आपण आहे ना ते
because that
public
particular
मध्ये येतात.
B variable is available inside the public scope of class B, and by default that particular public scope is available to the class D. So suppose, yes, so how we can initialize that B variable? Again reinitialize with the help of D object. D dot B is equal to, okay, I will write it as a 50, and again I will call that particular function display. So let us check what will happen. D dot display error semicolon is missing. Okay, now guys look at this output. This particular output is related with first display function. In that case, the value of B is 5 because that particular value is already initialized with the help of this get AB function. And next one, this particular value is updated because we have directly accessed that particular member variable which is available inside the class B or the scope of that particular class B with the help of this D object. So by default, the value of B is directly changed. Okay, so this is related with single inheritance. Guys, clear? What is meant by single inheritance? How we are going to access
Yes, sir.
all the member functions as well as variables from the base class to the derived class. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.